Hey, welcome to the Interaxis YouTube channel, interaxis.io. In the last video we talked about exchanges, specifically centralized exchanges. In this one we're going to discuss decentralized exchanges as opposed to the centralized ones. So if you'll remember, centralized exchanges came about and have grown in an attempt to provide more security, more ease of transfer, more liquidity in certain equity markets, and overall greater efficiency in the overall market. The ability to exchange equities, debt, commodities, any type of good or service is what comes about from an exchange. An exchange is essentially just a marketplace where people can come together, and the exchange provides an easy way to do this for financial instruments. Okay, so some of the centralized exchanges that we looked at were in the crypto world were like Binance, Coinbase. Some others are Bittrex, Bitfinex, BitMEX, all of those. Okay, so Binance and Coinbase, what they have is they might have one big wallet where they have just tons and tons of ETH. We'll call it ETH now. So they have all this, millions of ETH, and they might earmark and make an accounting entry that Adam has 100 ETH. Wouldn't that be nice? Adam has 100 ETH and they earmark that. Now I can go onto their exchange, their order book, and I can sell, remember, and there are other people wanting to buy, and their software, their company is essentially there to match us up. Okay, and they get to take fees for transactions, and they get to potentially make some of whatever this spread is in here. The spread being the difference that I'm selling at a certain price, someone's buying at certain prices, and they might make money on the spread, or they might make money in fees. And mostly Coinbase and Binance are charging a bunch of transaction fees to keep all of this safe, to make these transactions, because essentially when they make these transactions, they're just making accounting entries in their own books, because they have this big wallet of ETH or Bitcoin or whatever other cryptocurrencies there are. And so they're just making accounting entries. That's what their software is doing once they have paired up the sellers and the buyers. And eventually, if I decide I want to take some of my coin out, my ETH or Bitcoin or whatever other cryptocurrency out, and move it to a wallet, then they will move that amount of cryptocurrency to my wallet. They'll have to deduct it from their big wallet, and they'll charge me a fee to move my crypto out of their wallet. They're a centralized exchange. They're providing a lot of, hopefully, security, ease. More than anything, they're providing a lot of liquidity in the market, because Coinbase and Binance specifically have enough users that they're providing a good deal of liquidity. I know that if I wanted to sell ETH at a certain price, there's probably someone there, if it's at the market price, that wants to buy it. So that's the benefits of a Coinbase and a Binance. Now we're going to contrast that with the decentralized exchanges. Decentralized exchanges currently might be someone like a IDEX or a Kyber. Uniswap is a big one now, and there are several others, and I apologize if I'm missing some of them, but these are the ones that are off the top of my head. These are some of the decentralized exchanges. I've used Radar Relay before, and what these are is a way that they provide this software in the middle, this mechanism, but I have my wallet over here, and I just connect my wallet, and this is able to read basically all the coins that are in my wallet, right? So I might have one ETH in here, and I might have one rep token, and I might have 100 DAI or whatever is in my wallet. And I decide I want to buy one ETH. Well, there are all these other wallets that are connected at the same time, and people here might be willing to sell one ETH, and this software is essentially putting us together and creating an order book. So I can buy, they can sell, I can see what they're willing to sell for, they can see what I'm willing to buy for. The software is going to more easily and efficiently put us together and create the transaction that's going to move one ETH from one of these wallets or many of these wallets. If there are people that want to sell 0.25 and there's 4 of them, it might be 4 wallets coming out of 4 wallets here and moving to my one. So why would I want to do the decentralized version versus the centralized version, right? Well, first of all, from a security standpoint, right? There have been, as we all know, there have been no actual hacks of, say, the Bitcoin network or the Ethereum network. However, there have been hacks, and the ones that get publicized are the hacks of the exchanges, right? There have been some large hacks. Mt. Gox was one, CoinCheck was one, where there were these huge hacks where someone got in and went to those huge wallets, right, and started sending out Bitcoin or Ether to their own wallet. So these centralized exchanges might not be as secure and safe from the standpoint that there's all that's where all the money is, right? There are these huge wallets that have all this cryptocurrency in, and if someone wants to hack it, they might be able to hack through a username and password or 2-factor authentication or whatever it might be, or get in through a backdoor and take money out of these huge wallets. And I have to worry because if my ETH or my Bitcoin or something that's in those centralized exchanges is nothing more than an accounting entry, and they lose everything they had in that wallet, well then the amount that was earmarked to me as an accounting entry is probably gone as well. But if I'm now on a decentralized exchange, I connect my wallet just long enough to perform whatever transaction I want, whether it's a buy or a sell or whatever it is, and then I can disconnect my wallet. And now if this exchange is somehow hacked, my wallet's not connected to it. So ideally, no one can get what's in my wallet at that moment. Right, so it becomes a little bit more secure there. The other thing is I can go to a decentralized exchange and I don't have to go through KYC AML. I don't have to have a username and password or anything. I literally can just connect the wallet, make the transaction, and get out. And no one has to know I was there. I'm the only one who knows I was there. I show up as just a wallet address, and that's it. And I'm not doing that to be nefarious or anything. I'm doing it because it's a lot easier. In addition, a lot of times these decentralized exchanges aren't really taking a fee. There's no fee to get my money in. There might be a small fee for the transaction, but there's no fee to get my money out either. It's moving straight into and out of wallets. So I don't have to pay the Coinbase or Binance fees. So now you go, well, why would I want to use centralized exchanges at all? The decentralized exchanges sound so much better. Well, the big problem with the decentralized exchanges is the liquidity. Right, we talked about this with centralized exchanges. The decentralized, or the DEXs, right, this is a big term, the decentralized exchange or DEX, might not have as much liquidity, especially at the moment that I want to buy or that I want to sell, right? If I want to buy some sort of token, if I wanted to buy a rep token because I want to go on to Augur and start a prediction market, there might not be enough people at that moment or enough wallets connected that are looking to sell rep at that particular moment to me when I want to buy it. So I might have to buy it for a higher price than I wanted to pay, or I might not be able to buy enough at all at that moment, and I might have to go to a centralized exchange and actually purchase it. So liquidity is an issue because your liquidity is subject to whoever happens to be there willing to sell or willing to buy at that moment. It's not one where I can just set an order and necessarily walk away like I can at a centralized exchange and the order will hit whenever it gets to my price. Right. So that's one of the kind of drawbacks of the decentralized exchange. Now, they're becoming very popular in that a lot of decentralized exchanges now, Kyber in particular, Uniswap, are being added on to wallets and wallet apps and such, so that if I want to trade for a certain token, I can just access Kyber or Uniswap via that wallet app, and all of a sudden I've exchanged ETH for some other token, right? And who knows why I might want that? I might want it because I want to lend or I want to stake, or again, it might be Augur and I want to start a prediction market, whatever it might be. But the nice thing is they can connect directly via the wallet. I can make that transaction, and I never had to go to another site, or I never had to have another login or KYC AML or verification or anything like that. It's just wallet to wallet. It is a true peer-to-peer transaction. This exchange is just the software, it's just the code that facilitated the order book, that facilitated putting the two of us together, the buyer and the seller, so that we can interact with each other. Now, what we're going to see in the, especially as I always talk, as we move digital finance and cryptocurrency more towards traditional finance, we see something called 0x. 0x is a protocol that was built, and there are other protocols being built to create your own decentralized exchange. So I can build on top of the 0x protocol, and we'll have another video that goes way more in depth on 0x, but why it's going to be important is I can build on top of that and create my own decentralized exchange for whatever marketplace I might want. And the marketplace I might want to create, let's say I'm in Texas, so let's say I want to eventually create a marketplace for trading oil tokens. So say there are oil tokens that represent my ownership in some sort of oil well or oil drilling. I can create a protocol or an exchange on top of the 0x protocol that just allows the buyers and the sellers to come together and trade nothing but oil tokens, because that's all my exchange is there for. And it's great because they don't, again, there might not be usernames and passwords and such. Like, they can just connect their wallet. This will see that they have these certain tokens in there, these security tokens in this case, that they might want to trade. This system, this software, will be what puts them together. And this is where they can say how much they want to sell or how much they want to buy. They can list the price, and the exchange is done. So that's where 0x and this decentralized exchange is going to come in. It'll be important also because someone will create a decentralized exchange specifically for debt. There will be decentralized exchanges, I'm sure, for other types of private businesses, for real estate, for all security tokens. There are all sorts of decentralized exchanges that are being built. These are the relayers, and they're going to take some sort of small fee, transaction fee or fee to interact. But it's going to be important because it's going to allow me, as the user, to continue to keep custody of my own assets, my own wallet, and all the currencies and tokens that are in my wallet that today only represent cryptocurrency, one day will represent real assets. I will have tokens in here that represent real assets. I'm going to get to keep custody of it. I'm not going to have to give it up to any sort of third party in order for me to interact with it, in order for me to buy and sell, exchange these tokens, which might be cryptocurrency, might be representation of ownership in some sort of real asset or debt. So that's why decentralized exchanges are so important. If we go way back to what DeFi is, and the promise of DeFi and why it's important, the deal is it's created this, again, this peer-to-peer ability. We've outsourced the trust and the risk to this code, and this code is giving us the ability to transact, to keep custody of our own assets, but to find each other and be able to transact and interact with each other in a way that I don't have to give up my assets in order to do it. I get to keep control. And by keeping control of my assets, that means I can interact more efficiently. I can interact anytime I want. I can do it across the city, the country, even across the world in a way that's efficient that I wasn't able to do in the past. It potentially gives me greater liquidity for my assets, and it gives me more options as to how I interact with this ecosystem. So that essentially is decentralized exchanges, or DEXs as they're called. They're growing really fast. There are so many of them. They're being added to other applications. Please don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out at interaxis.io. Hit us up on Twitter at interaxis8. And we look forward to showing you more videos.